Hey friends, and welcome to day 26 of Walking Through the Gospel of Mark together. And today we're here at kind of an iconic viewpoint here in Townsville, and we're in chapter 8, verses 11 through 21. And this is one of many situations in Scripture. It seems like all through the Gospel, Jesus is having these antagonistic kinds of back and forth with the Pharisees or the Sadducees or whomever it was. And the Pharisees were a group of people, you won't see them in the Old Testament. They kind of popped up, I think, during the Babylonian captivity, near the end of the Old Testament, and then through the intertestamental period. And they were experts in the law, they were experts in the Old Testament, and they held a lot of authority with the people. And so they had power, they had prestige, and they were looked up to. And so when Jesus came along and he's attracting disciples, people are watching his teaching, they're seeing his miracles, they say he has authority, they're looking at him as a threat. And so they're coming at him in chapter 11. It says, when the Pharisees heard that Jesus had arrived, they came and started to argue with him. So they're not wanting to learn from him. They're just immediately wanting to test and argue with him. It says, testing him, they demanded that he show them a miraculous sign from heaven to prove his authority. And here's the thing, like we know, we've been reading this together. Hopefully you've been reading with us. And you see that Jesus had proved his authority over and over and over again. He had words that were definitely not just from humanity, they were from God. He had works that over and over and over again proved that he was supernatural. This wasn't, I mean, we're actually getting closer and closer to the cross at this point. Like we're closer to the cross than we are to the stable. And so at this point, Jesus has proved himself, but they keep asking for one more miracle, one more thing to prove his authority, one more thing that we can condemn you on, that we can argue about. And the reality is that no matter how many times you see Jesus move, maybe this is you, like you've seen Jesus legitimately like touch people's lives. You've seen him heal people. You've seen him transform people. Someone that you saw was really a mess, and now they're walking with God in a peace and joy. They've been healed. Like you may have seen things happen over and over and over again, maybe in your own life, and you still struggle to believe. And the reality is, like Hebrews 11 says, it says, it is impossible to please God without faith. Anyone who wants to come to him must believe that God exists and that he rewards those who sincerely seek him. You may just need to go to Jesus and say, God, would you give me the faith? I'm struggling. I've seen you work. I felt you work maybe. I've seen you work in other people. Maybe this seems like a supernatural word to you and you're thinking, okay, God, but how do I believe? How do I put to rest all these doubts and questions? And at some point you just have to say, Jesus, I'm not going to see everything in this life. I'm not going to understand everything in this life. I'm not going to necessarily, like every miracle in Scripture is not going to make sense to me. But I'm going to choose to believe in you. I'm going to take that step of faith and I'm going to choose to believe in you. I'm going to choose to trust you for my salvation, for my forgiveness, and for my eternity. And as we walk toward Easter, I pray that would be you. If you haven't taken that step, that you would today, and that you would trust Jesus, you would exercise that faith and allow him to give you more. God bless you. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day.